All right, welcome to the research poster project. Uh, at this point, I'm going to walk you through the modifications you need to make to the starting Excel spreadsheet. Um, all this should be pretty familiar to you by now. So I'm going to go a little bit um, quicker than I have in the past. Um, but first of all, I think it helps just to do some formatting so it's easier to read the data that you have. Um, let's imagine that we're interested in if there's a connection between attitudes about sex and ethnocentrism. So those things tend to run together. And in other words, people that have more restrictive attitudes towards sex tend to be more ethnocentric. So let's imagine you wanted to explore that. Um, and I have just made up some data here, but I'm going to these come from actual scales, so I'll talk about them like the real data. Okay, so first off, let's come up here and just underline and bold the names of the variables. And then we're going to come in here, and for all this, we're going to center these just so it's a little easier to see. And then let's color code the variables that are for permissiveness, sexual um, attitudes about sexual permissiveness, and we'll color those one color. And then let's say these are about communal attitudes about sex, about the extent to which it's a way two people become closer. Um, that one, oops, sorry, I changed the color of the font by accident. And then this last one, let's say this is ethnocentrism. And let's give it, oh, what are we feeling like? How about something in the green family? Okay, so we got all that. Um, we can come over here and put an ID, 1, 2, and then highlight or select both of that and just drag down to get ID numbers. Um, let's center that, and we'll go ahead and bold and underline that there. Okay, so now we're going to get our scale values, and I have already labeled these here for you. So the sexual permissiveness, we're going to type equals and then average, and then left paren, and then I'm going to come over here and uh, grab this first one, comma, second one, comma, third one, comma, fourth one, comma, fifth one, and then right paren and enter. And it is averaging these 5 values here. All right, I'm going to do the same thing. Get the average for these here. And I'm going to go and get that one, comma, that one, comma, that one, and then right paren. And you get that. Just if you double click on it, it'll show you the values of the cells that it's averaging. And then for this last one here, equals average. And I'm going to go grab that cell, comma, nah, 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 nah. Right paren, enter. Okay, so just to challenge you a little bit, I'm going to tell you that certain of these items are reverse scored. Let me grab that for you. Okay, these are in the assignment, but I'm just pasting them here so it's a little easier to pay attention to them. So what I'm going to do here is come in for this first one where I'm averaging. And remember, if something's reverse scored and it's a 7-point scale, we need to subtract it from 8. So I'm going to come up here, and it's P2 that needs to be reversed. P2 is in the C column, so I'm going to come to the C1 and go 8 minus there. Then the other one is P5, and that's in the F column, so I'm going to go over here and go 8 minus there. Okay, so it's calculating an average again, but it's now plugging in the reversed value of this. So in other words, that 6 will get averaged as a 2 because that's what the flipped version of that is when you're trying to figure out the scale value. Okay, same way, there's only one flip score for communal, and that's C2. C2 is an H, so I'm going to come up here to H, go 8 minus, subtract that value from 8, and then, whoops. And then here, I'm going to flip EC1 and EC4. So I'm going to take 8 minus that first column, which is the K column, and then 4 is here. That's the second to last value, so that's the N column. So 8 minus that. Okay. So if you click on it, it's still working with the same cells, but there's modifications there to flip those values. Okay, so now nice thing, once I've got those done, I can just highlight all that, go to this right corner, drag down, and it'll do it for each of the rows. All right, and then I'm going to come in here and say, let's get the mean and the standard deviation. So the mean, I'm going to get the average of these. Standard deviation, I'm going to get STDEV-S, left paren, get those, right paren. And once I have those, I'm just going to drag those across. Just for formatting's sake, I'm going to go ahead, let's center all these. And I'm going to come in here and put a line, just so it shows you that these are statistics down here. Let's go ahead and highlight these, or bold these and bold those. And also have them in italics just so they're set off a little bit. All right. So we've got the means and standard deviation. Okay, so at this point we're going to switch to Zotero, and we're going to pull down some references. So if you check back in your assignment, you're told to search for the ethnocentrism scale, along with the guy's name, McCroskey, that came up with it. So I'm going to switch to Google Scholar. You can just plug in Google Scholar, search for that, and get in here. And then when you search for ethnocentrism scale McCroskey, you get a number of different hits. Obviously, if you're doing this for a real research project, you would want to select some of them and read them and all that. But I'm just going to show you how to grab some quickly and put them into the poster. So remember, you can click on this little folder icon that's a Zotero plugin. I'm going to select those 4 and hit OK. And that's going to add them to my library. And then later, when I want to put those in the poster, I'll have those. Okay, so if I check in Zotero right now, you can see that those 4 got dropped in there on ethnocentrism. And so I'm going to use these 4 later for the poster. Okay, so next on our agenda is downloading the PowerPoint template. I have the link down here for you. I already have it open. And the one I want you to use, just so we're all on the same page, you can see there's all kinds of different options here. Let's see, where's the one I wanted? I'm just going to search for it. It's Cobalt something. Oh, there it is. Conceptualizing Cobalt. Okay, so I'm going to get the smallest one, and it's going to offer to open that up. All right, and then let me move this over here so it's just on the screen that you can see. Okay, so it starts off, it's this little, they're just advertising. You can get these fabric posters. They're slick, but they're pretty expensive. So I'm just going to click on that and hit, enable editing. Click on that, and then I'm going to erase it. Okay, so now I'm ready to plug in some stuff. I'm just going to have you plug in 2 screenshots and then some references. And I'm remembering at this point that I forgot to do some stuff in the Excel spreadsheet. So we're going to switch back to that. Okay, so let's recall that we before calculated correlation matrices, and also we calculated correlations. So let's say that you want to know these 3 kinds of correlations. So permissiveness and communal, and then saying you're trying to think about these 2 things to do with sexual attitudes predicting ethnocentrism. So I'm going to click here and go correl. And then I need to highlight the 2 arrays. So that would be this, comma, this, and enter. And then I want to do ethnocentrism and permissiveness. So I'm going to highlight, I'm going to go equals correl, left paren, highlight this, comma, highlight this, enter. And then the last one, correl, and this, comma, this, right paren, and there you have it. So if I click on those, they'll highlight the 2 arrays that are necessary for each of these correlations to happen. And I can now, I'm just going to format these a little bit, change the decimals, and then center that, and then that's good. So that's just, again, correlation is just telling you the strength of the relationship between these things. Okay, and then we're going to do a quick little graph. So let's just make this easy on you. We're just going to correlate, I'm going to grab these 2 columns with the titles. And then I'm going to come up here and go insert recommended charts, and I'll choose the scatter. All right, and then I'm going to move this up just so I have space. Okay. All right, now you might remember from before that you can modify this, change the axes. All you have to do is click on the little plus and get axes title. And so here we can call, the first one here is, sexual beliefs, communal, and this one is ethnocentrism, and then I can label this whole thing relationship between I'm just going to say sex beliefs and ethnocentrism. You can make that font a little smaller, but we're not going to do that. Okay, there you go. So that's the graph. And now I'm just going to have you do two simple things. One, I want you to do a screenshot of this area here. And we're going to go into your PowerPoint. And I'm going to paste one of those here. Okay, now obviously, if you're doing this for real, you'd want to kind of figure out what's going to go where. We're not doing that. We're just going to slap some things in here so that we can see what you have produced. And then the other thing I'm going to grab is this graph. So I'm just going to do a screenshot of this. You can also use I think it's the Windows snipper. And I'm going to increase that. Let's do it like that. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And then, let me get me a little more real estate. Okay. And then over here where it says, this area says conclusions, let's change this. I want you to say references. All right. And now we're going to get fancy. You're going to go to Zotero. And you have these four references. If I just highlight those and I left click on them, I can go create bibliography from items. It's going to ask me what style I want it in. I'm going to leave it in APA style. Then I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint, and I'm just going to highlight, I'm going to click on this header here, and I'm just going to paste, and then it'll put in those four references. The formatting's a little off, so I'm just going to go highlight all these, and you need to go to, where is it? This key is align text. I'm sorry, that's not the one I want. This one here. Yeah, or the line spacing options. And if you come in here and put in a 12-point space after each reference, then that'll look a little better. But let me show you that again. So if I have the text highlighted, I'm going to go to the home here, and then you're looking for this little one that's the line spacing. You click on that, go to line spacing options, and then you add the 12-point after. Okay, so that's good. All right, now just a few more little things and we're almost done. So let's call this the relationship between sex, attitudes, and ethnocentrism. And you don't need this here. And then come down here and we're just going to go Jeff Sin, or whatever your name is. Winthrop University. All right, and then I want you to add just a little bit of bling. If you go to, if you just search for Winthrop logo, I can pick my little one-footed eagle guy. So I'm going to copy that. Go back to my poster. Boom. Drop in Mr. One Foot. Pull him up here. And I'm sure I'm violating some kind of Winthrop standards on use of the logo, but whatever. You do not have to put in a Winthrop University logo, but put some logo, like a cute dog, something that will entertain me. All right. And then, so just to double check what you've done here, you've dropped in a plot that has your scales, means and standard deviations, and the correlation values. You've done a screen capture of your little graph, the scatter plot. You've renamed the title, and then you have given your name, Winthrop University, and that's it. All right, and I should have done this before, just so I didn't lose any work, but you want to come over and save this. You got to do save as because it's downloaded. So I want you to save this as research poster and then your name. And then you're going to upload that into Schoology. And then you are done. Okay, hope you enjoyed. Thank you.